പുത്രന്മാരെ, ഞാൻ ദൈവത്തിന്റെ മനസ്സിൽ ഓർപ്പിച്ച് നിങ്ങളെ പ്രബോധിപ്പിക്കുന്നത്, നിങ്ങൾ ബുദ്ധിയുള്ള ആരാധനയായി നിങ്ങളുടെ ശരീരങ്ങളെ ജീവനും വിശുദ്ധിയും ദൈവത്തിന്റെ പ്രസാദവുമുള്ള യാഗമായി സമർപ്പിക്കും.
So presenting your bodies as living sacrifice. And Psalms 139:14, that's a very beautiful verse. It says about how we are fearfully and wonderfully made by our Creator. And the last verse is Proverbs 17:22.
Someone can read that?
Proverbs 17:22. It says a joyful heart is a good medicine. So Bible gives a lot of importance to physical health. And next slide. And why does Bible give importance to physical health? Because God has entrusted upon us a lot of things that we have to be accomplishing while we are in this earth. And for that, our body should be physically fit, in good shape and healthy. And then only we can do things that God wants us to do. And what is body? What is mind? What is spirit? I'll take a few minutes to explain about it. We all know about it. So what is the body? Body is that thing that we awaken every morning, and we brush its teeth, we wash it, we clean it, we take it to the places where we want to go, we drag it all around, and if the body says that, okay, I need some rest, and in the night time we'll give it some rest. And some people go a step ahead and give it some exercise and feed it with good food and good liquids, so that it won't be unhealthy. So that's what body is. But in Psalms 139 we saw how fearfully and wonderfully God has made us. So that also, if we look carefully, it's an assemblage of a lot of organ systems that our Creator has put together to perform marvelous work. So that is the physical body. And what is mind? Mind is a place where the perceptions take place, emotions, judgments, dreams, or calculations, those things, that takes place in our mind. And spirit, we all know what it is. It was given by God, and it has been breathed into our body, and that belongs to God, and God, it will go back to God when we die. So I'll read one verse, 1 Thessalonians 5:23. It says, "Now may the God of peace himself sanctify you completely, and may your whole spirit, soul, and body be preserved blameless at the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ." Next slide.
So what is good health? A lot of us feel that good health just means trying to do some exercises. If you could do the next slide. Yeah. So typically that's what we think. We think that people who play sports, people who play volleyball, that is someone who is a healthy person. The healthiness does not mean just physical part. There is a lot of components to it. Not only do you have to exercise, but it's the way that you eat. Those that do have disease, the way that you control your blood pressure, the way that you control your sugar, the cholesterol, and all these things, all combined, is part of good health. Other things that we forget is good health also means mentally. We are all believers. We all feel that we are in a different state than the normal person. We have a more relaxed or more peaceful state. Do we all feel that we have that? Stressors, other things like that also contribute to your health. And also spiritually, all of this, because God created it in such a way, God makes it so that, that all inclusively works with the Spirit. So if we go specifically into what we want to look for, there's so much to talk about. There's so many different diseases, so many different things that we can talk about. But I want to talk about a specific category, and you can see that in the next slide. It's called cardiovascular risk prediction. Okay, so what is cardiovascular? Everyone who is in the medical field knows what cardiovascular is, something related to heart disease or strokes. So this is a study that was done years ago. It's called the Framingham. It's in the bottom, Framingham Heart Study. Framingham is in New England, and in New England years ago they did a study of a large population that they followed over 15 years. 15 or more years. And what they looked at is in those categories is things that predict their 10-year survival, meaning that what are the things that will cause them to have a cardiovascular event? What is a cardiovascular event? It is a heart attack or stroke, simply put, okay? So that's what a cardiovascular risk categorization is. So what are those things that are part of that? Okay, so number one, sex. Okay, not that we have sex, but what sex we are. Male or female, that's number one. Men are more prone to disease. It's just genetically, and that's how God created we are more prone to having disease than females do. A lot of people there's a lot of things you can talk about it. There's estrogen and all this other stuff, but we're not going to get into all that stuff. The next thing is age. So as you get older, it increases your risk. Next thing, systolic blood pressure. Systolic blood pressure is, when you take a blood pressure reading, it's that top number. If that top number is above 135, typically that means that you are either at the verge of pre-hypertension or hypertension. And there are other categories, they're all separated, and we can talk about all that for hours. But systolic blood pressure, are we adequately have a good blood pressure? Number two is treatment. Those that do have blood pressure, are they being treated for it? Okay? Number three are smokers. Anyone here smokes? Okay, good. So you don't have that risk, but that is a predictor of cardiovascular risk. Okay? Diabetes is actually an equivalent, in most medical terms, it's an equivalent to like almost having a cardiovascular event. Okay, so if you're diabetic, that increases your risk. Right? And body mass index. Does anyone know what body mass index is?
BMI.
Anyone can calculate your BMI? Anyone knows what their BMIs are?
Yes.
Everyone knows? Okay, we'll go through it anyway. Alright, we'll do that second part, that bottom part of the slide later, okay? So the next slide. So what is BMI? BMI is actually your height over your weight. There are two ways of weight over height. Sorry. Weight over height. So there are two ways of doing it. One is what they call the metric system, which is simple, which is the Indian style, which is doing by doing the kilograms over centimeters, or meters, and you get the BMI. Okay. So remember this. If everyone knows their weight in kilograms and how tall they are in meters, you guys can calculate it. So start calculating. Those that know by pounds, I'll tell you how to do it. You put your amount of pounds over your height times itself. So if you're in inches, so if you're 5 feet tall, that's 60 inches. So you times 60 times 60, and you get a number. So you divide that and times it by 703. That's just a cofactor or whatever, and you'll get your BMI. So if you guys want to take some time to do that, go ahead and do that. Take a piece of paper, take your calculators, and do all that. So go to the next slide. So what does this mean when you have certain numbers, okay? Everyone knows their BMI? So I'll be asking what their BMIs are, okay? Alright, so people that are under 18 are underweight. Not underwear, underweight. The next one is 18 to 24 normal weight, 25 to 30 or 29.9 is overweight, 30 to 34 is obesity, and then separated into class 1, class 2, and morbid obesity, okay? So everyone got it?
Yeah.
Alright. Who wants to volunteer to give me their BMI? Okay, there's a simpler way. Go to the next slide. Okay, if you don't want to use a calculator, this is what you could use. It's just a graph. So I'll just use mine, okay? Everyone sees I'm 5'7", okay? 5'6". Give myself a little extra inch. 5'6", okay? My normal weight should be somewhere between what? According to that. How many pounds?
150 to 160.
Yeah. Okay? But my weight currently is 194. Where am I categorized at? Obese. Obese. I'm considered obese. Okay? I'm considered obese according to this chart. Does anyone volunteer their BMIs? What's their height and their weight? You raise your hand?
5'5".
Huh? So Andy's 5'5". Okay? So that will fall somewhere here. Okay, what's your weight?
Unspoken.
Unspoken.
190.
190.
350.
So 5'5" and 190, where does she fall under? Her BMI is over 30. She's considered obese. Okay? Now I'm going to use someone who's
overweight.
you're overweight. Okay. So Benoit, okay, how tall are you?
180,
You're 180,
511,
5'11", so you fall somewhere here.
yes,
How much do you weigh?
185.
185. Overweight. So everyone can go and see. If you want, you want to do it, if you want to disclose those kind of material, you can. If not, you can give me the paper.
I have a doubt.
Yeah, you have a doubt.
I mean, is this like an international standard?
Yeah.
Because like, then everybody in India will be overweight or obese. Because we all are.
Yes.
That's why
It is made by Chinese.
It's verified by the Republic of China.
This scale is made by Chinese.
Okay, so let's remember your BMI, okay? I'm going to go back there and I'm going to show you something about what is my risk in 10 years, within 10 years to get a heart attack, okay? Okay, can you change that back to female? Okay, she is, I don't know, 43.
43?
Yeah. Her systolic blood pressure is 120. Okay. Do you have high blood pressure? Smoke? Diabetes? Okay. What's your BMI? 25.4. See, she's better off. It says only 27% of her risk. Yeah, and your heart age is 42. Yeah. Your BMI is what? 25? 25.4. Anyone wants to use anything else? I'll change something here, very simple. If someone could put, can you put a yes to the diabetes? Here? No, next one. Yes. Look at her, look what happens. Look what happens. If she was a diabetic, her risk went from 2.4 to 5.8, and her age of her heart jumped to 56. Okay? Anyone else wants to do anything? Alright, put it on. Okay. She's female. She's 50, 43, okay. What's her blood pressure? The doctor's here. The doctor's here. She knows the blood pressure. What's your blood pressure? 130. Put it 130. What do you have? You don't have blood pressure? What's your blood? No, you're not treated for anything, right? So put no, no, no. You have diabetes?
Yeah.
Okay. And what's your body mass index? 31.
31.
31, not 3.
31?
Yeah, 31. There's that little comma. 7.9, and our age of our heart is 63.
Not now, after 10 years. Now.
That's how much the 10-year list is. Okay? Anybody else? We can do this later. We have a little time and have lunch and stuff. There's more on the slide. So if anyone has questions or anyone wants to do this, we'll take one more. Okay. Suni wants to do it. She's female. She's 35 years old. 110. And you have no illnesses, right? Okay, so no. Body mass is? 26.9. Age of her heart is 32, she's only 1.3%. Right, Chris? Okay? Alright? Yeah. We can do that later. Alright, let's go back to the presentation.
First one is diet. We all talk about diet all the time. Dieting.
gaining next
Let's
time.
enter slide. See, that's our sadhya and putta. And this has a lot of calories in it. That's pure rice and coconut and all the other papadam, pickle, everything. We often think that, to have a good meal, we should have a full plate of chore with at least 3 or 4 curries, right? And most of it is made from oil, coconut, rice, and medpurvi is completely oil, right? We fry it in oil. Tolerance, yeah, then, olive oil is good. Olive oil is better. That will come into in a little bit.
Don't depress us anyway.
So daily calorie intake for adults is about 2,000 calories. It's good that if we can calculate how much food we eat, how much calorie we take every day. Yeah, yesterday's idli contest, how much the idli has pure rice and dal. Dal is good, but the rice part is pure carbohydrate. It's just going into our body as fat. It's not going to be, if we are not doing any strenuous things, it's just going into your body as fat.
So Kunjamalari is responsible.
I was just talking about yesterday. It's our breakfast. It's one of our main breakfasts. Appam, idli, dosha, idiyappam, etc. So 2,000 is the average calorie intake, a normal calorie intake on a daily basis. Give or take 500, maybe 500 more for men, 200 less for women. In pregnancy, it's a little bit different. For children, it's different. Next slide. And it's very important also that we eat a balanced diet. So that much chore and little bit of food and here and there, it's not a balanced diet. A balanced diet comprises of appropriate amount, adequate amounts of carbohydrates, oils, vitamins, minerals, what else? Proteins,
Fat.
dairy, and water. So that's a balanced diet. Next one. And also it's important how much you're eating. Okay? It's not if you're eating 2 plates of good food, it's not good either. Your body doesn't need that much calories. The portions you take, are you going for seconds, for thirds? Or are you just satisfied with a small portion? Take a small plate and eat. Fill it with food and eat. And feel full. Don't take a big plate and fill it with 3/4 with rice and rest with curries. I'm not trying to disappoint anybody, but this will be a good practice for us to also think how much portion are we eating, and on top of the quality of food we eat. Okay? Next one. And the timing of meals. So what do you consider as a good meal for a day? How many meals a day? 3?
Small meals each time. Small continuous meals. Small intake.
Small meals, yes?
2.
Okay. 5. Okay. So the good meal is 3 meals you can eat: breakfast, lunch, and a dinner, and small snacks in between, or small frequent meals. Okay. And also the timing. It's very important. Don't eat a big meal before you go to bed. Okay. Just our dinner time is 10 o'clock. And you go to sleep at 11.
On Sundays, after lunch, what do you do? Go to sleep.
I think we need to have food before meeting.
For meeting, yes. Yes. See, is it a good practice to skip a meal?
So there's sort of,
No, why? Why is it not a good practice? Fasting we have to do, but apart from that, to lose weight, is it okay to skip a meal? No, why? Because your body will, the body will think that, okay, I'm in a starvation state now. The next time I get the food, I have to store everything I get. So that if I get into that fasting again, my body will have a lot of fuel to expend. So after you skip a meal, what happens is whatever you eat, a lot of what you eat is going into as fat. So that's a body's mechanism. We are tricking the body actually, and to store the extra food. Okay? And next one. And then the next one is exercise. And we know that we all exercise on a regular basis, right?
I did. I walked.
You walk to school every day? Okay, so the exercise part, if we are eating 2,500 calories a day, say for example, okay? And we get into the car in the morning and we are doing a job at the desk, not moving much. We take the elevators, we park the car next to our work and don't barely walk to the elevator, get into the office and sit there. And, you know, how much are we spending? In the evening, we are so tired. And the thing that we want to do is eat something, relax, and go to bed. If that's our daily routine, how much are we spending? Nothing. And to maintain weight, the recommendation is to exercise at least 3 times a week for 30 to 40 minutes. That is strenuous exercise where your heart rate goes up. The cardio exercise, okay? And the next slide. Yes.
When exactly is the age factor comes in? I mean, from what age we need to start all this? Maintaining the 200 calories, like, is it 16 years?
Adults, it's making the 2,000 calories is for an adult.
Oh, from 18 years?
That's for an adult, that's the average adult.
Yeah, for children it's different.
Okay.
But to lose weight, if we are in the BMI, if it is in the overweight or obese category, we have to work hard. Okay, to lose weight. That is about 60 to 90 minutes for 4 to 5 times a week. Okay?
Your heart rate has to get above, it's like 220 minus your age will be your maximum heart rate. So somewhere below that, so like if you're 180, you're supposed to be like 160 to 150 to 160 for a period of time to actually burn calories. So, you know, if you're looking at 2,500 calories that you take in, right? In a normal daily work, you may burn only maybe 1,500 of that. Okay, so there's 1,000 calories that are left over. Okay, so you're doing, just to maintain weight, you're just doing a light walk or doing something, your weight will not change. But to burn that 1,000 calories on a daily basis, you're putting in that 1,000 calories to get rid of it so you can lose weight. That's a lot of work that you have to do. So a typical 45-minute run only burns, you know how much? How much is a typical 45-minute run at, let's say, a moderate speed, where your heart rate gets into the 140s?
250 calories.
That's it. Okay? So running is important, but there's a lot of other things that you can talk about later about weight training and other things that you do, okay, to really burn calories.
Next one. So where do we have time and patience to do all these things? We don't, right? Can you tell some practical things that we can do?
At work.
At work, What can we do at work?
Then move your feet like this.
Yeah, turn in front of the TV.
Wake up early. Wake up early.
Wake up early and take some time.
Just take some time before starting the day.
Talk on the phone.
Also park the car far away from the parking lot.
Use the steps.
Stairs, yeah.
And even at home, instead of yelling from the bottom steps for your kids to come down, go walk upstairs and call them, knock on their doors.
Do moving by yourself instead of renting somebody.
Yeah, so if you're moving a lot, then you can do it by yourself.
This goes with the biblical principles. What he told us to, he has given dominion over everything. He can clean the army, he can at the same time, he has been expert.
Yeah, and when Jesus was in the earth, he used to walk miles, right? His disciples, and most of the disciples were like doing physical labor. He was a carpenter himself.
We don't have that
His disciples were fishermen, and he walked a lot with his disciples. So And the third thing is regular screening. Okay, so we talked about exercise, we talked about diet, and the third one is regular screening. Okay, so what is regular screening mean? When does it start? What age does regular screening start? Newborns, yeah. We keep a track of their weight, their height. Okay, now they're recommending from 5 years of age, take the blood pressure of children. And their figure is about to form, so there is a chart. We have to really follow them up for the high blood pressure. And at 10 years of age, they are checking the cholesterol now. Because a lot of kids are in the overweight range and they have a risk of developing heart disease later. So they recommend to check the blood sugars, their cholesterol from 10 years onwards if they are at risk. Okay? So that is for the children, and also other things are vaccinating them regularly against diseases. Next one. Oh, there is more. For the adults, they are recommending annual screenings that will look for, blood work, like checking for blood counts for anemia, cholesterol, blood sugar, blood pressure, things like thyroid, things like that. And for women, there is mammograms and pap smears that starts at certain ages. And at 50,
You can finish.
yeah, at 50, colonoscopy starts. We're looking for colon cancers. And at 65, what starts looking for bone diseases, bone softness, prostate starts around 70, 75 years. Sorry, 50 years. 50 years for prostate. 65.
But once they're menopause, right?
No, only if they are at the risk, it starts early. If they were on certain things that can predispose to osteoporosis. But if they are a healthy person, it starts only at 65. But for prostate, it starts at 50.
Even though there's a lot of debate about it, they still do it. A lot of doctors do PSAs and rectal exams. So be ready for rectal exams.
So those are the regular screenings, at least once a year. Take time to do that. It's not for treatment, but making sure that they're staying healthy. Okay? Next one.
Living in a time too where many people are uninsured. So what would you suggest to people that don't have insurance and cannot really afford the health care? What would be other things that they could do?
There are options now. There are some recommendations, especially for the children under 18, to go and see their doctor at least once a year.
They do free or income based? Is there
I think
something?
that is income based. And what do you call that?
But there are people that fall in the middle. But there's people that fall in the middle that can't, you know what I mean? There's a lot of people that are in that group.
We have to thank our president because he made a new healthcare policy that allows for uninsured people to get certain things. And I don't think that's going to be instituted for a year or so. There's some things that are being started where a lot of people who are uninsured and are not those that are at risk, but just for an annual check, the government is going to be subsidizing those kind of things in the coming days.
And now the Medicare is doing something called annual wellness exam, and that is just going to the doctor for 30 minutes and checking out everything. It's just talking to them and making sure that I'm healthy.
It's for those that qualify,
I
right?
qualify, yes.
But it doesn't cover any blood work or any...
No blood work in there. It's just talking to them
Just
and,
consultation.
Yeah, they can take the blood pressure and things like that.
yeah. Next one.
All right. So how can we maintain good health? We have to understand that because we are a body of believers, that prayer and actually, having peace, having the Holy Spirit is very important. It gives us a one-time distress. I know that there's a lot in this time and age. There's a lot of stress that comes, from work, from family, from different places, finances, a lot of things that do come there, but through prayer and through the Holy Spirit that we can reduce that burden can be reduced. So I'm talking that in the Christian aspect that we understand. Next slide. Well, you see this old guy doing a push-up. You could also do that too. We could also do exercise. Exercise is very important. And this is just summarizing why the age really good health exercise, and that's called the food pyramid. And you know, the balanced diet, doing those things that Sheba mentioned about food, those are very important. So, you know, prayer, exercise, diet, and what else? Next slide. Yes. Coming to see me. No.
You're in charge.
That's not my go-to. So, medications as well. You know, a lot of people are very hesitant to go to doctors. And I've heard other people, even in this church, say things about doctors. Doctors are not there to, you know, look for something. They're there to help you, you know. And when you know, we're just partakers in your health. We're not there to, you know, raise the bill or make you ill. This is a promotion for anyone who goes into medicine. That we are there to support your care. That's what nursing staff, that's what doctors, that's what all of us do. And that's what our job is. So that's also important in good health, is that if you do have disease, don't be complacent about it. Make sure that you do follow up with somebody or do the appropriate steps to be healthy, because that is what is biblical. You know, we forget that not only the mind or the spirit, but physically we are accountable. God gave us this vessel for some reason. And if we're not accountable for all those things, you know, God will ask us what we did with that.
I have a question. Since you are commending and teaching, and since you are the official physicians in our church, what gave you offer to our church?
Well, you know, I know a lot. Sometimes, I mean, this is just off key. Is that if you guys come and approach us for something, right? They say that, oh, my daughter has this, my son has this, or I have this. We'll just right then and there we'll you know, say, hey, look, we're gonna do this. We are limited by the fact that we cannot, you know, do any testing because we have to send you somewhere. We have to tell you go here for this something. I remember, you know, when I know that when I broke my hand, I can't just fix it myself. I have to go. I know it was broken. I know there's something wrong with it, and I can tell you, hey, look, my hand is broken. You know. And we can do simple things like, you know, give you blood pressure checks, prescribe medications, and things of that sort. Those things are options that we can do for those that, you know, don't want to have a regular doctor visit.
Since most of our church believers are from medical line, maybe it's a good idea to once a year or twice a year have a community, some kind of outreach.
That is an option. That is an option that I remember Steve talking about that when we started. That was an option that we can do that. And I know that some of us have volunteered at Good Samaritan where they do things like that, where they give, I think on a weekly, daily basis, a daily basis where they go out to the community and give just a health, they have labs and stuff like that. But very short, those who have done medical missions, they know that, you know, when you go out to the field, you're limited to what you can do there. Because we don't, I mean, to run labs and to do those kind of things are costly. That you incur a lot of charge. What we can do, simply like we said, is do a normal physical. And for those that have disease, we could talk to them about their medicines, and if they need prescriptions, we could refill them, but still they would need to see a regular physician to do labs. Because some of these medicines, like cholesterol medicines, even diabetes medicines, all of them have some adverse effects that need to be followed. You know, for people who are on cholesterol medicine, things like muscle weakness, or joint pain, or even liver problems, all those things can occur. And if you don't check it, you could continue on these medicines for years without checking your liver, and one day you wake up with pain, and you don't realize that it's your medicine that you've been on for years. So we can do something like that. That is something that, we can talk about. Next slide. So let us all work together to become fit. Thank you. If anyone has questions.
Okay. How are they going to do it?
So there's some handouts.
The question,
Yes.
I mean, is this the only problem the body can maintain, or is there any else? I mean, is there other things which is related to that?
You mean like heart disease?
I mean, the fullness to maintain the heart. Is there any other thing on a part of the body?
Physically. Well, you know, the reason why people stress so much about vascular disease is that because they're the number one leading causes, and those things can be a lot of things that come behind it. Okay, diabetes, eye problems, kidney problems, vascular problems. So that's something, one major thing that you can do something about to try to reduce your risk. Same thing with high blood pressure. High blood pressure causes all the same thing because it's affecting small vessels to big vessels. And when it affects that, you can have problems with that. When you talk about specific disease like liver or kidney problems and all these other things that are separate, they are on a different, there's really not a way to stop those kind of things. If you have end-stage renal disease due to diabetes, what do you have to treat? You have to treat the diabetes, not necessarily the kidney problem. Once you have a kidney problem, there's nothing you can do about it. You end up in dialysis. So there's really not, that's why a lot of doctors spend more time in regards to heart-related problems, or vascular problems. Okay, so this is a handout, this is just a food list, things that you can do, and also if you want that BMI chart, and reassess what the BMI is, you go ahead and do that. I'll pass it on.